Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. Now, earlier today, I said that I'm going to be talking about some subjects that seemingly don't have anything to do with the so-called Black community, but I'm going to bring it back to Black, and I'm going to show you how. Now, some of the subjects that I'll cover today are obvious Black topics, things dealing with the Black community. But this is one of those videos that I said that I'm using this one to show you how I'm going to bring it back to Black. Some of you who think very similar to me, you'll get it right away when I read the title. You'll say, I see the connection and I see where she's going with this. Now, how can I bring this subject back to Black? Let me first read the title to you. Okay. And I want to see those of you who, right after reading or hearing the title, let me know in the comment section if you get it right away. Okay, it's okay if it's a few seconds, but if you get it right away, just let me know. But I'm going to read this title and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to tie this into the so-called Black community, because this is one of those stories that many on the surface would say, oh, wait a minute, that has absolutely nothing to do with the Black community. But I'm going to read this title. I'm going to show you how I'm going to bring it back to Black. Okay. Basically, it's a story where two Maine police officers who allegedly beat a porcupine to death while on duty have been fired. Where am I going with this? And what does that have to do with the so-called Black community? I'm going to show you right away. I'm going to show you right away how I'm going to tie it back to Black. We have to go through months, sometimes years long court cases, news articles, news rhetoric, making the victim appear to be the perpetrator. We have to go through all of this stuff where they are putting the victim in the seat of the suspect, right? Even in cases where a person is just outright innocent, like Botham Shem Jean, they tried to connect marijuana to him to somehow in their minds justify what happened to him, right? Even though in many states marijuana is legal, but that was the only thing that they could try to muster up. So they had to try to conjure up some things. Tatiana Jefferson, another scenario where you had these religious church leaders, these pastors, they all came together at a press conference and they say, I will not let you tarnish this young woman's name. She is the victim here. And I will not let you make her into some type of criminal to justify what has happened to her. Right? So you see how we have to struggle even with the simplest of cases where it's a cut and dry scenario of a person who was wrongfully murdered, right? We have to just fight and struggle for so long to try to get just a few voices who are going to hear our side of the story and say, you know what, this is not right. This should not have happened to him. This should not have happened to her. But with this story, these two police officers lost their job because they killed a porcupine. Now get this, they should have lost their jobs. I agree with this decision. The point I'm trying to make is that in this country, the life of an animal is worth a whole lot more than a Black life. And so when they hear people talking about Black Lives Matter and they scream in return, all lives matter, this is why we say Black Lives Matter, because for them, a porcupine life matters a whole lot more than a Black life. And so that says a whole lot for the thought process of this country. This is why for 400 years they've been able to do the things to so-called Black people that they have done and still try to make themselves out to be the victims. You see, from where many of them sit, they believe themselves to be the innocent victim of us, even though they hold all of the control. They make all the moves and the decisions and the rules and all of this. They believe themselves to be the victims, and that so-called black people are the ones victimizing them. They believe that they don't get jobs because of black people. Let me give you a good example of how they believe themselves to be the victims. Even though Kamala Harris, whatever her name is, even though she is not a quote unquote black woman from her own lips, right? She identifies more with her Indian side of the family, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. But she had made a statement where she was trying to figure out why Donald Trump only appointed 50 white justices and not one black. And so you have this YouTube commentator who just went on this nutty rampage. His face was twitching, his eyes and nose, cheeks, bones, everything. It looked like he just started short-circuiting on screen, right? And he said that her statement was so racist. All the statement was, it was a question actually. Why isn't it that President Donald Trump was unable to find one black justice out of 50? He appointed 50 white justices, not one black. That was her statement, or a question, whatever. But this guy said that she's incredibly racist and hateful because of that statement. And he compared her to the violence of the Ku Klux Klan. I said, man, so this man sees them as the victims because of a statement she made, not an action. And get this, she's not a black woman. From her own lips, she's an Indian woman, right? But for him, her making a statement, just asking a question about the appointment of justices was enough for him to declare that she is just as bad as the KKK. How much more reprobate can you get than that? You see? And so this is how I was able to bring this back to black. Okay? The fact that a porcupine gets more justice after being beat by 2 white police officers than a so-called black man or woman. That porcupine got more justice. These people were fired. But usually, when they do something to a so-called black person, okay, they get a lot of support from around the country. They get people raising $1 million for them in GoFundMe. You get people who are vowing to help them every step of the way and to pay for their legal fees. You see, they get all kinds of support. And they even get promotions sometimes. They get book deals. But you kill a porcupine, your behind is out the door. Did I successfully tie this back to black family? If I did, in the comment section, let me know what your thoughts are. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, share and like this video. And with that, I'm finished. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.